In this video, we are going to take a closer look at GW's unloved space marines, the Reivers, and how to make them work in a Deathwatch army. This is the corrected version, pointing out the problems Reivers face in regular space marine armies and what further hardship awaits them in the Deathwatch. Are the kill teams the answer to the Reivers' problems? Let's find out. Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. Here you will find tools and guides as versatile as a Swiss army knife to help you build your army. My name is Temmer and I will be guiding you through this video. In case you end up liking this content, please feel free to subscribe. With that out of the way, let's get started. In a regular Space Marine army, the Reivers are a bit of an oddball. Standard primary stats, relatively cheap in points, but taking up an elite slot, so they are facing a lot of competition. Their ranged damage output isn't all that impressive, though I think that the heavy bolt pistol would be fine if the combat knife was actually decent. They provide a variety of utility, such as the Terror Troops ability and being deployed from low altitude with their grav shoots. There are a variety of stratagems tied to them, such as guerilla tactics, which lets them be put back in reserve, Terror Troops, which disables OPSEC on units and has a chance to make an enemy unit fail their action, or Shock and Awe, which basically prevents a unit from doing Overwatch and gives them a penalty to their hit rolls. As previously mentioned, in any regular Space Marine army, the competition for elite slots is fierce, and it's unlikely that this unit will see play over the multitude of good units such as Blade Guard veterans, Terminators, One Guard veterans, and many more. There is also the issue with disabling OPSEC on an enemy unit, but then not being OPSEC themselves, which means a small unit of Reivers would need to be backed up by an OPSEC unit on top of spending the CP for the stratagem. Ultimately, all the mentioned utility can also be done by the Phobos Lieutenant in Reaver armor, which in a regular Space Marine army is a great pick because of the wound rerolls anyway. With all that being said, let's have a look at how things change when assigned to the Deathwatch. Perhaps the most commonly known advantage when creating kill teams is that they count as troops, a feature the Reivers could greatly benefit from. But is it really that simple? Creating kill teams goes beyond simply mixing a bunch of units, but actually requires a careful study of the following elements, which are described in more detail in the Deathwatch supplement. The sections Datasheets, creating kill teams, as well as the separate section for each of the kill teams, define how access to war gear, abilities, including deployment, keywords, and access to stratagems change depending on the composition of the kill team. In case of the Reivers, they gain access to any loadout, meaning when including multiple Reivers, you could freely mix their two different weapon options. Furthermore, their Terror Troops ability only applies for as long as a Reiver is in the unit. This prevents the rest of the kill team from accessing it without the Reiver being present. Deployment options also differ because all other models have access to concealed positions, while the Reivers get the optional grav shoot. This would make mixing the units already problematic. The Spectrus Killteam also gains the shock grenade keyword for as long as there is a Reaver present. Potential deployment issues aside, so far so good. But what does it mean for stratagems? Because the Spectrus Killteam gains the Phobos keyword, guerilla tactics remains available. Because the Spectrus Killteam can also gain the shock grenade keyword by including a Reaver, the shock and awe stratagem also remains available. However, access to the terror troops stratagem is actually tied to the Reaver keyword and not the terror troops ability, as I initially thought. Because there is no specific mentioning of Reivers regaining that keyword, they do not have it anymore, and with that lose access to perhaps the biggest reason to bring them along. In summary, creating kill teams comes with a set of challenges that goes beyond just mixing unit and gaining free OPSEC. While Reivers would greatly benefit from getting OPSEC, losing their terror troop stratagem makes their inclusion in a Spectrus Killteam undesirable. In order to make them viable in the Deathwatch, they would at the very least need that stratagem back. Preferably, they would see an upgrade to their combat knife on top of that. While it would perhaps not solve their problems in regular Space Marine armies, I could totally see them as a competitive option in the Deathwatch from that moment on. Last but not least, if this video has inspired you to dig out that dusty box of unassembled Reivers, regardless of their dire circumstances, here are some modeling recommendations. As usual, magnetizing the two weapon loadouts could give you some flexibility and make them future-proof, because we never know what GW might have in store for them one day. Personally, I would assemble them with the graft chute, as this is the loadout I would normally take them for, though given how rare it is to see a Reaver on the battlefield, I doubt that most players could tell the difference anyway. So, that's it for including Reivers in a Spectrus Killteam. As always, I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that they might find a home in the Deathwatch, regardless of their flaws, or do they deserve to be kept on the shelf? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again, and see you next time.